Yeah.
It's a whole nother level.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Where are the young folks, where are kids, they should be the one getting scared, listen to this.
Video.
We are old and probably all
We
done.
have to go where we can.
All one side. So they are the ones that have
Right? We have to go where we can. We still are the leadership.
And they speak about
See,
it.
we're still the leadership.
Right.
Our kids don't know.
Yeah, but we have to
Still the
get, we
leadership.
have to get them interested with it.
We will.
But that's what. That's it.
I would like to get as many copies as I can so I can distribute them all over. Back there in the continent.
Oh, so.
It would be nice to have a Saturday class.
I wish you were.
I agree.
Yeah, I've always been for
The
that.
young people too.
I agree.
The young people.
I agree. If we can get them here. My man.
I just want to say, wonderful film, and they made a lot of beautiful comments. One of the greatest things is we don't stick together, as it was speaking on the film, we don't stick together as a community anymore. We have been sidetracked by everything else that's been going on, and we don't reach out and communicate with our own people a lot of times. And we got a tendency to see our own people going through oppression and going through problems, and we don't stop to talk to them, we don't stop to consult them or console them to find out what it's all about. And that point, we just been torn apart with everything that is going on from other cultures. So that's what's keeping us from achieving what we have to achieve. I once said a few years ago, when I was taking Mr. Kehinde's class, that there was 27 towns that the African Americans built across the nation. We built 27 towns, and things happened to cause those towns to fall. And as the guy was speaking in the film, the money was passed amongst the 27 towns.
18 times.
Yeah,
Within
and there
the black
was
community.
a lot of oppression against those communities because they actually was minding their own business. I mean, we had business, we had lawyers, bankers, we had judges, we had everybody in these towns, and then we didn't have to go outside to do our business. We had cleaners and laundromats and all of that, but the aggression against us caused those communities to fall. It's what they done to cause the communities to fall, and how we got torn apart. So again, it would be greatly that we all need to just kind of pull it together and see what we can do for our brothers and sisters. Even though we know they're on the street, we know everybody, they have a hard time, but people have problems. Everybody has a problem. And just like he said, you know, white people have a problem. They go out and say, oh, well, it's because I killed up 17 people and kind of cut them up, threw them in the barrel. I'm sorry, and they go over there, they claim they're crazy, and when you go to the judge, the lawyers fight, well, he was insane. Well, he was insane way before he got to this point.
White supremacy is
Right.
exact.
So, that's what they use, but our line is to pull together again. That's, you know, I can't stress it enough, is pull together, work together, is the greatest thing.
Okay. Who next? I want to hear something. Everybody.
I mean, you know, everybody touched, you know, basically what needs to be said, but like I said, we have to get our young people, and some of those. But I see a lot of the stuff needs to be educated through our churches,
Right.
through our homes. These type of videos need to continue to be a priority so they can understand who they are.
Right.
Because a lot of us don't know who we are, and it goes back to, like you said, back in time, in our communities. Our communities were developed. They destroyed it, and they continue to destroy it by keeping us conquered and divided. So if we come together, and like I said in the film, we put our money together, and you continue, it will grow, it will come, it will happen. But we're too much trying to be above and be the Joneses and be better than everyone. It can't happen. So if we can sit here and stick together, put these things in our churches, our schools, even if we gotta have a big screen out there in the middle of the street in somebody's yard, and let people bring it to them and let them watch.
Right.
Because these are things we have to do no matter what as a group. Because if we're gonna do anything, that's action. We gotta do action. We can't sit here and just let everything think it's gonna hope and pray on everything, because praying, you gotta be action. It's praying and action. Okay.
I wanted to say, in line with what the brother is saying, Reverend Harris has opened his church up for us to do just that, to start having our community meetings here, to, Ms. Jackie mentioned, us teaching our young people, and I know you know the importance of that. He's trying to help get started, with a school, but in the meantime, before we can get to the school, we need to start having people come and talk about the curriculum and talk about their commitment to the effort. And while I'm thinking about it, we have two young men here on that front row, James Standfield and please forgive me if I cannot pronounce the name properly. Okay, these two young brothers are going to speak on the fourth Saturday about Black history and how it relates to the Bible. And I'm so proud of them, I don't know what to do, because of their knowledge, their interest, their enthusiasm about watching these videos, as we see how they're the young ones in the group.
Well, they know they leaders.
As well as
They
Dr.
leaders.
Floyd
They know what to do. They leaders. I said they leaders. They know exactly what to
Yeah,
do.
so I want to make sure you guys are aware of them and what their efforts are, and that they're going to come back here. So I want to make sure, come back and support what they're saying, and give them the support that they need to keep going forward.
Yes.
Amen.
Yes.
Yeah, like you said, we encourage you guys to come back next Saturday on the 21st, then come back again on the 28th. Me and my brother here at the shop, and I myself, James, we're
What time?
gonna present, it's 1 o'clock, right? Yeah, 1 o'clock at the same time, all Saturdays. We're gonna present, you know, and how Black people, correlates to the Bible, you know, like he said earlier, like Moses was African, so we're gonna relate that, you know, to the Bible, you know, me and my brother right here. It's gonna be very informational, and we want to bring a lot of information to help us think critically, you know, to help us realize what's going on. You know, that's what it's all about. Me and my brother in the shop right here.
Are you going to use scripture or are you going to historical
We're gonna use
position?
Scripture, well, a lot of people don't realize the scriptures are the history. But we've been so damaged by the book in the past,
Right.
we tend to neglect that fact and chalk it up to, well, really a lack of faith in what's written in the book. And so we're going to show you throughout the scriptures exactly who God says we are, because I can't find Black, African, Negro, all these other bywords in the scriptures.
Yeah.
But God has people in the Bible, and so we're going to show you who that is.
One thing I would hope that we do, as you do that, I hope we talk about the 5,000-year history of our own religion. I mean, when I look at the Roman Empire
That's right.
and Constantine,
Yeah.
who created Christianity,
Right.
they use that as a war weapon around the world.
The whole,
We got to address that.
the whole this empire, foreign empire together. He used Christianity.
Yes. So I'm saying, that's fine. But I think at some point, as a people, we need to know our values, our culture, what happened before these barbarians came into our continent, murdered, raped, and everything else, and gave us their Jesus
Right.
and their Islam. That goes to both of them. We need to at least know our thing before we got their thing. Because after we got their thing, we over here in slavery and everything else. I'm just saying, that's a discussion we just got to have.
I hear what you're
I'm not
saying,
beating up Christianity, or I'm
No.
not beating up Islam.
I hear what you're
We got to get into that.
But it's important that we all are speaking to be an element of truth there. Romans didn't create Christianity. The Hebrew scrolls outdate much of the ancient text on the earth. And they
King James Bible, all of that stuff
I'm not talking about the
is
King
European.
James.
That's all it
I'm not
is.
talking about the King
Christianity
James
was
Bible.
in Africa.
Okay, then we need to talk about, we need to take their perspective of it.
Well, exactly, and that's what we hope to do, but
Okay.
it's wrong to paint Christianity as some Roman invention when Christ himself was of Negro descent, and he didn't have a religion.
There's no such thing as Negro.
She has her hand up.
Let me just add one.
Oh, excuse me, hold on 1 second, give her a chance to speak, she has her hand up.
I thank you for having this. You know, we're native and we're Mexican because of whatever happened in our history also.
Right.
And the young man before he left, he goes, did that happen to us too? And I go, yeah. My mom was not allowed in school. She's Texan born. You know, so I relate, and I'm glad I came. I was at another meeting, I said, I'm gonna go. And but I had a conversation with Sacramento yesterday, and the question was, how do you feel about Father Juniper Sierra becoming a saint? And somebody laughed, and I said, hell no. You know, they murdered a lot of Native people to build those missions, right? I said, hell no. And he goes, get over it. It's a different era. You know, and I just felt like vomiting first of all, and I said, we don't forget.
That's right.
You know, it's in our blood, it's in our DNA.
That's right.
That's right.
You know,
That's
my
exactly right.
father immigrated because of the Mexican Revolution. And he spent his time on the railroad, and he hung out with blacks, and he knew how to call them partner.
Right.
You know, and so I was raised with that aspect, like read, question what you read.
Yes.
Who wrote it? What was the purpose of that person?
That's right.
So I was raised by my father to be a warrior.
Right.
And so, yeah, I didn't get to college, and then all of a sudden I learned about my culture. But they don't teach it in school. They don't teach it in school. So I'm very envious that you're having Saturday school
Right.
to learn about your religion and your true religion.
Yes.
Because it did, you know, my mom used to hide to do the burning of the stage.
Right.
She used to hide to do all the native stuff. And my father would get angry at her for doing that
Right.
because he didn't want to get caught. Because we were supposed to be white and we were supposed to be all American and all that. And so it wasn't until I grew up and I started realizing what my mom was doing was okay.
Yes, yes.
You know, but it took me a lot of anger.
That's right.
During the summers, I'd be working in the fields, I go back to school and all the white folks are looking and happy and they didn't have no broken nails and their knees were not black from picking the walnuts, you know. I was angry. And then I go to school and I go to La Raza Studies and I learn. And then I turned around and focused that anger and channeled it to make change. So I'm happy that you're gonna have that in school, and I am so proud of Floyd. Because it took me a while to get Floyd on my side, you know. And he's been on my side, and he hasn't abandoned us. So I agree with you. If every one of you brings your grandchild, because that's where we gotta focus is on grandchildren.
Man.
Bring them to the class. Duplicate, like the sister said, duplicate that video, take it home. Even if it's 20 minutes a day that you show it to them, maybe you can redirect that anger.
Man.
Thank you.
Yeah, and then we get back.
My name is Topic. I'm going to be very brief. I would say that African culture, actually, we all know that Africa is the origin of mankind.
Right.
Okay. So all these spiritual teachings that we have today, that's where they came from.
Right.
We have to do some research. And please let us stop climbing on the shoulder of the Jews or the Arabs to justify ourselves and call ourselves black Jews and the Arabs or this or that. We predated them.
Right.
You know, we have forgotten what we knew.
That's what I'm
So
talking
we
about.
have to do research. Please, if you want to talk about religion, go and do research.
That's what I'm talking about.
And you don't
That's
know
all.
that now. You don't know it. Don't kill yourself. You know nothing about it. When you do research and you do study history, even written by them, you will be able to see for yourself that actually what we have been given was a bill of lies. And we are holding that, we're dancing around with it, we're singing songs, we are fooling ourselves. Okay? Because if you read, let's just take the Old Testament. If you read the concept of God that is given to us, he was bloodthirsty, he was jealous, he was one-sided, partial. Is that the God we want?
No.
Of course not. This was written by people that felt like that. God is a reflection of our own inner self. If I'm a bad person, of course my God is bad. greedy, stamping on other people, and using God to justify it. We have nothing to do with that. We should not. Okay? But we have to do research. Most of us are too lazy to research. We just want to take what is given to us and keep dancing around like, with it. Let's go and do some research. Go to your forefathers' country. Study the old religion that predated both Islam and Christianity. Okay? And then you will find that actually what Moses taught the Jews was actually taken from Africa. Most of those myths about the flood and this and that, they were not taken.
That's right.
Okay? It did not originate from them.
Absolutely.
They also took a lot from the Babylonians, the so-called 10 commandments.
Yeah.
They were taken, extracted from the laws of Hammurabi, who lived, how many years? About 600 or 800 years before Moses. So how can Moses be the origin of everything? And when you even look at Moses himself and what he did, how he mass murdered a lot of people, all under the pretense of God telling him to do that. Of course God wouldn't tell you to do that.
Yeah.
If he did it, he wanted to do it. So we have to change our mind, come up with what kind of God we want, okay? And stop fooling ourselves and allowing other people to dictate to us, direct our mind, because all they do is put us in the particular way they want. And they got us. And this idea of God is black or white or something like that is very, very dangerous. The kind of God we want to believe in is not a human being. So he's neither white nor black. Once you start talking about God is black, God is white, you've had it. You are defeated. Okay? Because that means that God can never be the God of the universe. He can never be everybody's God. Everybody cannot be white, everybody cannot be black, everybody cannot be brown or yellow. So what are you talking about?
Was black not the presence of all color?
Pardon?
Is black not the presence of all color?
Let me tell you something. I'm a scientist. I'm an engineer. When you talk about colors, it's deceptive. Okay? Scientifically, when I see a green leaf, what does it really mean? All the colors of the rainbow from the sunlight shine on that tree, okay, on the leaf. Because of the property of those leaves, they absorb all those colors, the colors of the rainbow. Okay? Now, the ones that they don't absorb, they reflect back to your eyes. Color is nothing but energy. Different levels of energy. There is no such thing as color. Okay? It's different levels of energy. So when it strikes your eyes and your retina and your brain, then by social convention, it has something to do with reality. We say, oh, this is green. Oh, this is red. By social convention. If nobody told you when you were young that this is green, you would not know. You would just say, okay, it has a particular color. You would know. So color is not something, all the colors of the rainbow, they are nothing but different energy levels. That's what they are.
So how did we get here?
How do we get
How did we get here?
I will stand here and tell you, I don't know what I'm searching. If you want to believe somebody's lies, if it sounds sweet to your ears, then do so. But I don't know. One thing I know, I don't accept the biblical story of the Adam and Eve. We don't know. That is fine and sweet for children, just to silence them. But we should keep searching. I know we're here, and I know I didn't bring myself here. I know that, But at least I'm humble enough to say I don't know. I'm searching. Okay.
Who's your God?
It's not a person. It's not somebody you can put your finger at. The God that I personally like to believe in and say is universal.
Creator.
Universal creator. You cannot really point to him as a him or her.
Or her.
And why he?
Well, I'm saying him or
Maybe
her.
back to all of us.
He just said, it's
Right?
universal.
or how the universal. It's not a personal entity like you can put your finger and say, oh yeah, I told you or something. No.
Well, how do we please or worship this God? And where can we learn how to show
Can we,
Hold on, yeah.
that's a good discussion for afternoon.
Yeah.
Why not?
I'd like to, I mean, I have questions for you.
Let me ask you.
Yeah.
Forgot about it.
Let me ask you, the most appropriate question we should be asking when you say worship or praise the God, you have already conceived something in your mind. The most appropriate question is, how do we know? Once you know God, then you will know the right thing to do. But before then, before you know God, you're worshiping, you're singing something, you're just projecting
Because what he's doing.
what you don't really know. So don't talk about worshiping or praising Him.
We come back.
I don't think it's good. Why do you think it's listen?
I want to hear. Yeah.
You know, you say color doesn't make any difference.
No, I didn't
But
say
we
that.
mean that there's no such thing as color, that it's
In the
energy,
streets,
some
in the-
kind of
yeah, in the
energy.
streets,
Well, we've been
scientific
mistreated because of this, some kind of energy.
That's right.
That is
I
one
would
way
say
to get
that
out of
hurt,
it.
you know, and, for us that do believe in Jesus, we believe it because of faith. Not because whether or not it can be proven or not, and faith is supposed to be come by hearing
Going faith.
and by the word of God.
I'm not going to stand here and dispute that.
Let's move to another. Now, this is a future discussion.
This is the agenda.
As soon as we get down to the nitty gritty, then it always gets cut off and it gets turned into an argument. When we really start talking about the meat.
That's right. So let's get back to the agenda. I want to hear some other comments. And then I have something I'd like to close with. But I want to hear some other comments.
Well, I mean, real quick, I know, because we do a lot of stuff, we do a lot of stuff for Black History Month, but to me, this is personally, every day, every minute is Black History Month.
Yes.
Let's just make this 1 month of this time as the time we do this.
Let's just call it Black History Month kickoff month.
Yes.
This is the kickoff month. When we move to every day. And it's the kickoff.
Every second.
I thought it was very interesting in there about when they spoke of melanin coming from the pineal gland, and that having to do with chemical intelligence.
That's right. That's very real.
That would be.
That's real. In fact, we got to talk about melanin at some point. There's a whole science around it. Yes, sir.
It's not personal, but like scientist said right here, he said color doesn't matter. And she said that she brought melanin, so that means color does matter. Because
He was speaking in a different context. This is the other. Of course it matters.
We get
He's been burned and lynched around that. So, but he was talking about in terms of
Scientific.
Yes.
what the science really is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's what he's talking
oh,
about.
it's nothing personal.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't matter, because God don't respect no color.
That's
When you get into that,
And that's what he was saying.
you
That's what he
get
was
it,
saying.
God is universal, he
Right.
is universal.